welcome back to the After Hours podcast. I am your host, Daniel, and today we have Samantha Wilson and her husband, Brandon, from Bourbon Charity. How are you guys doing today?
Very good. You?
Doing pretty good on this Sunday. Can you go ahead and give a quick rundown? I know we interviewed Bourbon Charity before, but can you give another quick rundown for those that are unfamiliar with Bourbon Charity?
Yes, absolutely. Hello, everybody. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we raise money through our fundraisers that we have throughout the year by allocating rare bourbon bottles up for grabs. And so we support various organizations and foundations. We've supported 26 charities throughout our 2 years of being established, such as the Children's Tumor Foundation, the Boys and Girls Clubs, and we have raised over $1.2 million in just these 2 years, just by getting the word out there about the rare bourbon that people always want and are always chasing. And that is kind of a little bit about us.
Very cool concept. It's my two favorite things. Bourbon, obviously, I love bourbon, but then also doing it for a really good cause. So it's really awesome. And so you, I believe you've recently joined the Bourbon Charity.
That's correct. So I'm now about 2.5 months in as the executive director, the first paid employee that the organization has.
And how's your experience been with them so far?
It's very good. Everybody is so welcoming. I mean, that's what I have fallen just in love with, is everybody is so great at just welcoming and getting the word out there as well. So for me, it's a huge learning curve. I came from education. Education is my background. And so being a teacher and then coming over to the bourbon world, it's a little different, but it's been so much fun. Just planning for our fundraisers. We have upcoming in-person events, and it's definitely a learning curve, but I have enjoyed every step of the way so far.
And how's kind of like the day-to-day been so far?
It's great. I love, reaching out to these distilleries, and the networking has been really fun for me, setting up meetings here locally, as well as meetings, just via phone, trying to set up different podcasts to get our word out there as well. And then just really reaching out to our members, for our Bourbon Hood members, placing orders. I do the fulfillment for that as well. So any type of orders, merchandise from our website. I manage our social media accounts, and it's just been a lot of fun. I'm kind of, wearing a lot of hats, but it's been great.
Very cool. And how did you find out about Bourbon Charity?
So my husband is in real estate, and he started to get involved with the founder, Brandon, who's also Brandon. He became in real estate with him, and I'll let him speak a little bit to that, just kind of how it started with him.
Yeah, so I kind of, if you want to put it as simple as possible, I slid up in his DMs as soon as Bourbon Charity started, and I just asked if I could help, and he's like, "Yeah, here's the link. You can donate." And I was like, "No, I want to help." I had been looking for a charity that I could, feel passionate about and put my all into, and so I went in, met with him. I've been helping ever since. I mean, it was about a month after the charity's inception from when I started. So I've kind of been here watching the ride and enjoying all the giving in the community. But yeah, we've kind of just developed a friendship through there, and now we do some real estate together as well. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Have you had any favorite events that you've been able to take part of so far over the past couple of months?
Yes, so we just had our Father's Day fundraiser, ended in June, and that was really right when I jumped on board. And that is our we like to call it our biggest fundraiser of the year. However, our Valentine's Day one kind of topped that already this year, but we raised over $108,000, and that was really the kind of the like a pivotal moment for me, just kind of being thrown into the punches, if you will. But I just got to know everybody on social media at that point, and then just the amount of money kind of blew me away, and really touched my heart in the sense that so people are so giving, and just for these bourbon bottles, it kind of blew me away, and it was truly amazing.
For sure. And where would you say your donors are coming from? Is it all like one area, or is it all across the United States? What's kind of like your demographic as far as that goes?
Yes, so our Bourbon Hood members are all over the U.S., and we have some states are have more donors than others. We've got quite a few donors here in Arizona, where we are based and our offices is, and then we have quite a few right now. Like some of our top states are Utah and Oklahoma, as well as Kentucky. And so, yeah, they're just all over. It's really great to see, too, just on social media when people reach out and are trying to see how they can be a part of us before becoming a member. It's really amazing to hear, what they've been a part of in their local community. And then they just love what we're doing nationwide, not just on the local level. So it's really amazing to get to connect with those, everybody, all of our members. We have an exclusive Facebook group as well that is just amazing. People throw, pictures. We just had somebody post, a drink that he had the day after his son was born. So it's kind of neat to find out, more about our donors also in that way.
Yeah, it's like a nice little community where everyone can kind of see everything going on with everything going.
Absolutely. Especially with COVID, I think that, for us, which was kind of, people would have been hit really hard. But I think for us, we just were continued thriving through COVID. And because all of our events were online, kind of since we were established. Now we just started our planning for our event in November, and it's a golf event here in Arizona, but and people are really excited about that. But even though everything's been online, the response has just been tremendous about engagement and willingness to donate to these amazing charities.
For sure. You said there's the golfing event in November. Is there any other events that are coming up?
We actually right now have our Support Our Troops fundraiser going on, and that's for Labor Day. That is virtual, but we've raised right now, we're at a little over 21,000 just for our, and it goes to military-based charities. So that's our big fundraiser going on now. In addition, we're looking at doing another bingo night, and that was super fun. My husband was a part of that. That was before my time. But that'll be in the fall or winter time also.
Very cool. And so I'm guessing you're pretty familiar with Bourbon Charity even before your 2 months. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Just based, I was kind of married into it, so I got to hear got to hear all about it.
Do you have any personal favorite events throughout the year?
I like the Father's Day one.
Okay.
I am a father, so it just...
That's fair.
Yeah,
a little bit of a bias.
Yeah, they're all just special in their own way, and all the charities that we've donated money to, they're all special to somebody. And the cool thing about our charities every year is that anybody who's donated the previous year gets to vote on what charities that they want to see the next year, which is great. So it keeps everything real close to heart and personal for everybody.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. What's been your favorite part so far on your journey with Bourbon Charity over the last 2 months?
I think for me, it is seeing how our community and members, not just our members, but just the community overall, seeing how giving they are and how much they want to be involved. Like what, people are coming to me saying, we love what you're doing. How can we help in addition to just that monetary donation, which is really awesome to me. They want to try to see if there's something local that they can do in their community, in their state. And so that's been really, really amazing to see.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, has there been anything where you might have not necessarily saw it coming where you're like, wow, this is a lot. This is a handful.
I think just the organizational like back end piece for me. I'm a very kind of organized OCD person, but I think coming into it, some of the getting to know the systems and how it was done before, I'm kind of establishing that, if you will, the organization piece. And so it's been fun, but it's also been a lot of work. It's been fun because I'm able to kind of piece it together how I would like, how my brain works. But I know that has taken a lot of my time that I didn't expect.
Have you had like any interesting stories come up recently over the past couple months or anything kind of out of the ordinary where you're like, that was interesting?
I think, I don't know, interesting, but just a cool connection that I had. My dad lives in Rochester, New York, and we have some members in New York. And one of the members reached out via Instagram and just DM'd me. And it was really cool to just kind of make that connection with a member that, kind of hit and was close to my heart, because that's where, and so we were just talking about, some of the landmarks in Rochester and just kind of relating on that level. And that was really neat to me.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And you actually, so you reached out to me over LinkedIn, and that got me wondering, just because the way that we've done outreach for the After Hours podcast was just through email. Have you, like, just off of your experience, what have you found to be the best for reaching out to distilleries or whoever it is that you're reaching out to kind of spread the word out about Bourbon Charity?
Yes, I think for us, it's definitely social media. I recently got into LinkedIn and, I'm working on building up that base for us. I really just have my personal LinkedIn right now. Our charity one is still going to need some work, but I think for us it's just that social media. Facebook and Instagram right now are our main sources, and but it takes a lot of work. We kind of have to plan for it, just like we do for all of our events. The social media is also, I always say, like, it's a beast in itself. It takes a lot of time, but it's also a really fantastic network of people that spread the word and have no problem sharing our posts and things like that. So that's been really amazing. In addition to just distilleries that have reached out to us just based on some of the photos that we post, and because I'm kind of the face behind that, it's been really cool to just see that those connections being made.
Right on. Do you see that one platform does better than the other, or does it kind of differ between how they all do?
I would say Instagram for us has been pretty successful. I have noticed that LinkedIn is, has a lot of, I guess, professional, people that also, they know somebody. So it's kind of that networking piece for LinkedIn. But I would say Instagram for sure is right now the heavy hitter for getting the word out there for us.
Okay. And yeah, looking at your LinkedIn, I think it said you were previously a kindergarten teacher.
That is correct. Yes.
Has anything from your kindergarten experience kind of tied into what you're doing now?
Well, teachers love to drink. That's no secret.
Okay.
No, it's, I think for me, it's some of those charities that we donate to. I definitely, tap on my heartstrings, the Phoenix Children's Hospital, some of the other St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital as well. Some of those charities that we have supported, that really kind of ties into my background, of course. And not to say that I want to do more for them, but it just ties into, what I did and why I did what I did when I was teaching, because my passion is with the kids. And in fact, this summer I reached out to the Children's Tumor Foundation, one of that which we've supported this year, and I sat in on their camps. And when people were donating for our Father's Day event, we supported the Children's Tumor Foundation. And in order to kind of find out where that money, when we send them a check, people always want to know, where is that going to that organization? Who is getting that check,
Right.
And so once I got connected with their youth development person, she hooked me up on a Zoom call. They have all of their camps right now virtual. And so they had between 30 and 40 kids who all had NF, and they were all on this call in addition to their mentors. And they have mentors that just kind of, keep tabs on their day-to-day life, check in, that sort of thing. But it was these kids that, they're able to connect with each other on a level that they might not have been able to, just because they have, either there's a stigma between the having NF, or even making those connections with kids who have NF. And then, the conversation just goes from there. And it was really just fun. And it just really made kind of my heart, just be so warm and fuzzy inside, knowing that these kids are, because we are helping fund these camps, these kids are getting joy, every day, just from making those connections. And these kids are all over. They had some kids in Australia. So it was really, truly remarkable.
It's really great to hear.
Yes.
So if you weren't working at Bourbon Charity, and let's say you also weren't doing teaching either, what would you be doing outside of that?
I think I might go into like event planning.
Event planning? That makes sense.
Yes, which kind of comes in handy now that I, am in this position. But I do love planning for events. I'm very detail oriented. So I think that part of, even just planning my kids' birthday parties, everything has to be in line, and kind of drives my husband crazy, but everything has to be in order, and I have to make sure that it's just the best. That's kind of, but that's the fun part, is that there's so many different layers to having events, and that kind of excite me.
Oh yeah, there's so much that goes into it.
Yes.
You don't know until like someone asks you to plan an event, and then you
Right.
do it, and you're like, oh wow.
Right. I know. Absolutely.
Is there any advice that you would give to someone that wants to either enter the bourbon industry or the charity industry?
I would say if you're entering, and trying to maybe start your nonprofit, just make sure that you kind of have all your ducks in a row, do your research, make sure you have a good accountant. Don't go skimpy on that. That has been one of our things this year that we are, faced with, is accounting. So definitely don't skimp on an accountant. Make sure they know what they're doing. And just make sure your heart's in it. I mean, I think that's the most important piece, is whatever business venture you're starting, make sure you love it, because I think people can kind of see through that. And yeah, I definitely love what I'm doing now. And I did love teaching as well, but I think I came to a phase in my life where I had to just decide I wanted something different based on having children at home now. And so this is kind of the perfect balance to get to spend time with them, as well as do great work with the charity.
So do you do a lot of work remotely?
I do. I work quite a few days at home, and then I go into the office a couple of days. And then, as we know, with social media, I mean, you're always on, so there's no time off as far as that goes. But being in the office, I try to just go a couple days a week.
Okay, and that's like,
Yes.
Not that COVID's a good thing, but that kind of fits in with how COVID essentially has create a lot of remote jobs. I think people are starting to realize that that's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a viable solution. I think there's like some study where it's like you're actually more likely to be like more productive at home than you are at work, which I
Hmm.
thought was interesting.
That is really interesting. I've heard like both sides, and I taught remotely for quite a few months, and it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like a catch-22, right? Like
Yeah.
you can totally be productive to a certain extent, but then you look around and you're like, wow, I really should go, do the dishes, or laundry should be done. And then that kind of, takes you away from your work. But yeah, it's just all about having a balance. There is a lot of pluses to being at home though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
Is there any? Sorry, are you saying something?
that's where you do a lot of your work, correct?
Oh yeah, we basically do most of our work remote for the most part.
Yes.
It's pretty easy with software though, just because um, for the most part, I mean, a lot of what you're doing is on a computer anyways. So the only thing
Hmm.
where you really need to be in person is like preferably meetings, but even with that, you could still do the group video calls.
Right. Exactly. I've had plenty of those so far in my first couple of months.
Yeah, yeah. Has there been any resources that have really helped you out along this journey?
I would say just social media is such a big thing. Another resource for me, just being so new at this, has been looking to different support websites for all of our systems. So we run, we have a website, we have our merchandise store, and all of that. It's all just new systems for me when it comes to that. So YouTube has been really great, to be honest with you, looking at, different videos to try and help me. And then the team that we have with the charity, has been really fantastic. I'm able to go to anybody on our team, whether they live here or not. I'm able to connect with them. They've been just amazing at answering kind of some of those day-to-day questions that I haven't learned or are new to me.
For sure. And just looking at your website, it looks like you have a pretty big team. Can you talk a little bit about the full Bourbon Charity team?
Yes, absolutely. So we have, obviously our founder, president, Brandon Hunt. He's in the office here in Arizona. And then outside of that, we have Brian Hunt, and that's his brother, and he lives in Colorado, and he's on our board. And then we have a couple of people here that help build the community, Will and Brandon, my husband, as well as Chris. And so those guys are just great because they have been around since, the beginning, and in addition to just kind of volunteering their time for the charity, they know the business side of it. Their professional life has been an experience, has been really helpful to lend to the charity. And as well as looking kind of down with just our volunteer base. We have a website guy who does a lot of our IT stuff for us. Not so much anymore. I've taken kind of that hat. However, I can go to him and ask questions, and he's so knowledgeable. He's started his own websites, and then we have a photographer local that has done a lot of things for us in the past, and he's been really great as far as just support and trying to spread the word with his business, because a lot of these people have, the 9-to-5 jobs, and then they just are involved with the charity on their own time, whether it's weekends or evenings. And then we have a lot of Instagram ambassadors that have been really helpful, especially right now, like when we're in the midst of our fundraiser. We have these people that just support us and all of that as well.
Very cool. And then going back to your website, another really cool part about it, there's a lot of really cool merchandise. I haven't got my own Bourbon Charity glass. What's your favorite merchandise that's on your merchandise list?
Ooh.
Oh man, so for me, because I'm all about it. So Bourbon Hood, we got some new glasses coming out for Bourbon Hood members, which are our monthly donors that help support overhead costs. So we have some, I don't know if we can say it, but why not?
Yeah, they're coming out. They're really, really awesome.
Have you heard of the Norland glasses? They're
Tumbler.
really heavy tumblers. They're rock tumbler. Well, these ones are black, and they just look so slick. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to let me know when they come out. I'm gonna want to see that.
Yeah, they're not cheap, that's for sure, but they look beautiful. We are so excited. We had actually the rocks clear ones, but now we are coming out with the black, and they just look so slick. We're waiting on them. We have a local guy who does the etching and laser engraving for us, and so they will be upcoming. I think for me, I would say I really think that the coins are a really awesome like accessory to drinking. You know, each night when we drink, I like to put the coins next to it. My husband always laughs, but I just think that I think that they're really sweet.
It's a pretty cool coin.
I mean, it's a coin. There's not much else to say, but I don't know. I think that that's cool. And then because we're in summer here, at least here in Arizona, it's still 105. I love our Yeti tumblers. The little low ball that we have, it's perfect to just keep your drink cold. And I'm obsessed with having drinks by the pool. And so that is another really awesome one.
Yeah, we need cold drinks when it's 110.
Oh yeah, 100%. Cool. So we like to kind of wrap down the podcast by just talking about some fun off-topic questions. So I'll just go ahead and start off by asking my personal favorite off-topic question. Have you had any paranormal activities happen in the recent time during your you being with Bourbon Charity?
Oh, I have not had any paranormal activity happen. Thankfully, I actually was in the office I think it was like 2 weeks ago, and I was all by myself, and I kept hearing like this beeping. It wasn't paranormal, but then I finally came home and I asked my husband, and he said, "Oh, that's the alarm system in the office." And I said, "Oh, great." I know I'm protected, but nothing else was on. I couldn't hear anything else in the office, and being there,
ghost.
I know. Being there late all by myself, I thought, oh boy, there better not be anybody playing a trick on me, because I feel like what goes around in the office is just a whole bunch of playful tricks.
We do some pranks.
Like,
do you have any pranks that have happened recently?
Oh.
That you're allowed to talk about?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. No, I got some. So we've got a guy in the office who sometimes he'll sneak just like some random food in your bag if you're not looking. So like, you know, it'll be a couple days and you'll reach into your bag and like there's some like banana that's going bad or like some old pepper. So those happen pretty often. I got a couple bumper sticker magnets lately to kind of return the favor on those. Just a little fun, but nothing too crazy.
There you go. I recently pulled a fun prank on my brother. So my brother he likes to collect Funko Pops, and so he has like all the Star Wars and like Venom and like all the very like, you know, cool action figure-esque kind of Funko Pops. And so I was recently at Target and I saw that there is a McDonald's Tennis McNugget. And I was like, what even is this? I've never even heard of this before. So I thought it'd be funny if I bought one and just put it in the middle of his collection of Funko Pops and see if he noticed. And literally as soon as he got back to home, because I was home for the weekend, as soon as he got home, he noticed very quickly. But, yeah.
Hilarious. I love that. There has been, what was it? One time I put this is just our home bourbon collection, but I put something on my husband's bookshelf, and I think it took him like 3 weeks. It was a kid toy, of course, and it took him like 3 weeks to be able, it was like blended in with the bottles. And I'm like, okay, when is he going to see it? When is it? The suspense
Right.
is killing me. But then, eventually then you get a
Yeah.
laugh out of it. That's the fun of it. But no other paranormal activities. My husband definitely believes in that sort of stuff though, because he's had some experiences with his grandparents, right?
Oh yeah, this was a long time ago though. It's probably, I don't know, 20 years ago. But I definitely had some stuff at the house, and TV and printers would go on and off, and the cat would look up in a corner and just start going. And I've seen like a shadow figure run down the hallway before. So
Oh, geez.
I had my fair share of run-ins, but it's been a long time since something like that's happened.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I don't want that happening in our house.
That's terrifying.
Yes.
Yeah. I think my house is haunted. So, like, it's weird, though, because I haven't had anything happen to me in, like, 15 years. So it's, like, it's almost as if I feel like I don't believe in ghosts, but then, like, I also believe in ghosts. It's weird. It's like I'll laugh at other people for believing in ghosts, but then I'll also believe in ghosts.
Wow.
It's a very weird thing. I don't know how to explain, but
Uh-huh. I can't imagine having that experience. I've never had anything happen like that to me.
no, I've had some pretty crazy stuff happen. One of my favorite ones was my sister. This was forever ago, back when I was like in middle school. My sister was getting ready for prom, and she took a photo on her friend's phone. She took a photo in the mirror because it's before selfies were a thing, so you had to take the photo in the mirror. And right behind her, have you ever seen The Grudge?
Yes.
Like the girl with the very long hair?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so right behind my sister you couldn't see the face because it was behind her shoulder, but you saw the hair and like the top of the head, and the girl just standing right behind her. So that was a cool photo.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yep,
Wow.
I was definitely afraid to use the restroom
that
for quite some time after that.
Oh yes, I believe it.
Good times. All right. So next question. Is there a hangover recipe? And if there is, what is it?
I mean, in our house, it's probably got to be like breakfast burritos or like fried eggs, bacon, just a good breakfast, greasy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
And
we're breakfast people.
I don't know. Don't you think also just having another drink? sometimes that's just the perfect recipe to get over it, is let's have a mimosa or something else to just kick the day off, and then you feel okay after that.
It's always an option. The craziest answer I've heard is I forgot who it was, but they said they just run it off. I'm like, oh my gosh, what?
Oh yeah, no, that's probably not happening on my end. Although now with kids, like you just kind of do it. I kind of surprise myself sometimes with the amount of sleep that I get or lack thereof, and you just go. So as much as I have had the night before to drink, it doesn't matter. You just roll with it.
Right. So what's the most thrill-seeking thing that you've ever done?
It's a great question. I love roller coasters, and so I love kind of the thrill of those. I've done some pretty amazing ones at Six Flags and just kind of different amusement parks across the country. Those are probably on the top of my list.
I want to go skydiving.
You want to, but we haven't gone skydiving.
Right.
Another thing, though, that was really amazing was we went ziplining in Jamaica. So that was really, really awesome through the rainforest there.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then next question. What is your favorite hometown restaurant?
Ooh, there's so many great local spots here in Arizona.
I think since we've had kids, like the dinner scene has been kind of not there for us, but so we're like super big on breakfast. We like to go to breakfast, every weekend. It was pretty tough when COVID was going on to kind of get out there, but now we're kind of back out again, and we have, I would say, handful of breakfast spots that we keep in rotation to keep things fresh. But I don't know if I can really pick a favorite. I don't. Yeah, it's hard for me to pick favorites. Same with when I go back to whiskey. It's hard for me to just drink the same thing, twice in a row. I kind of just hop around bottles all the time.
Yeah. I would say though, like for Dierks Bentley, Whiskey Row, that's one of my favorite restaurants because for me, my love of country music, as well as having a nice cold beverage with that kind of marries both ideas, and then their food is really awesome as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and definitely like it's always the local restaurants that you have to go out to. I used to so the way I was kind of raised, we were the type of family where we'd go out to Bob Evans or Texas Roadhouse. But then like after going to college, I was a little more introduced to some of the more like local establishments. And I was like, wow, these restaurants are really good and way better than Bob Evans. It's a game changer for sure when you actually go out to all the local restaurants.
Right, absolutely. We like a lot of, like before kids, we went to a lot of wine bars. And so that was kind of our thing before kids, and actually probably before, Bourbon Charity for me too. I am getting my feet wet in the whole bourbon whiskey world right now, but my husband's been in it for a long time. But on the side of drinking whiskey, I like wine. And so going to the wine bars, I like the spreads that they always present as well.
Very nice. And then what is one place that you have been in the past that you would recommend to others?
Restaurant-wise?
Just like in general, like location-wise.
Jamaica.
Yeah, I would say Jamaica for sure if you're looking to get, I guess, outside of the U.S. But the beach, drinks, the people there, it's all, if you can go, do it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Jamaica. One of my closest friends actually just got married out there, so.
Oh, that's awesome. Amazing. I bet the pictures are tremendous.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Well, that is just about everything that I have on my end. Is there any other thing you'd like to say before we start to wrap everything up? Or anything you want to say to anyone that might, just any general word of advice or anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, so I think, if anybody has any great ideas, they want to volunteer with us, check out Bourbon Hood for members for sure, because there's lots of great perks for it. But just reach out to me. My information is on the website for contact us. We're open to ideas. I love being creative. But really, you can check out our fundraiser. It's happening now.
Awesome. Samantha, Brandon, thank you for joining us.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, After Hours Nation, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to stay updated, you can check out our site at afterhourscast.com. Don't forget to tune in next Tuesday morning for our next episode. After Hours Nation, stay thirsty, my friends.